Hi everyone, my name is Alicia Ann. I'm an assistant here at HOJO, and today we're going to be looking at the Getting Started with Off-Campus Housing workshop. So first, I'm going to give a slight introduction to HOJO, what it is that we do to help students and non-students. Then we're going to look at apartment sizes and how that system works specifically in Quebec. Then we're going to discuss Montreal neighborhoods using the likehome.info website. Then we're going to look at what to look for when starting your search, and finally give you some tips and tricks on visiting apartments. So first, what is HOJO and how can we help you? So HOJO is the Housing and Job Research Center of Concordia, and we give workshops on apartment and job hunting, as well as give you tricks on how to look for and what to look for when looking for an apartment. We also give information related to rental rules, so what are your rights and obligations as a tenant, and finally, how to prevent problems in your apartment. Now, a note for international students, Canada continues to maintain strict COVID-19 health and safety rules governing who can enter the country. So it's important to often look at the guidelines because they can change based on government policies to stay up to date. International student FAQ and quarantine information can be found at this link right here, but this link can also be given to you, will also be given to you in a follow-up email following this workshop. So now we're going to talk obviously about off-campus housing. So one of the great things about living off-campus is that because Montreal is such a student-driven city, there's a lot of students who live off-campus. And it's also a great way to get to know the city more if you're not from here, whether that's not from Canada or just not from the city of Montreal itself. So now we're going to talk about the apartment sizing system because it doesn't work the same as in other provinces. So it's important to get to know about it because it can get a little confusing sometimes. So first, a 0.5 corresponds to a room for rent with existing tenants. So when you're just renting a room in an apartment that has other roommates already. Then you have a 1.5, which is a studio, or sometimes also called a bachelor apartment. And a studio is basically an apartment with a closed bathroom and a small to medium-sized room in which there's a kitchen, space to put a bed, sometimes a couch, and basically there's no closed room to sleep in. Then you have the 2.5, which is a larger studio with sometimes a double room, or for example, as you can see on the slide here, a room in which a room that is L-shaped. So that's a closed bathroom with a often L-shaped room in which there's a kitchen and a place to put a bed. Then you have a 3.5, which has a closed bedroom, a closed bathroom, and a room in which there's a kitchen and in which the dining room and living room are combined. Then there's the 4.5, which has 2 closed bedrooms, a closed bathroom, and a kitchen with a double room in which, again, the living room and dining area are often combined. And then finally, you have the 5.5, which has 2 closed bedrooms, a bathroom, a kitchen, and a divided living room and dining room area. And in some cases, they are advertised as 3 bedrooms because they can close one of the spaces. But again, you want to make sure that you confirm that with the person that you're talking to, with the person who posted the ad, to be sure that both of you agree and are on the same page in terms of how many closed rooms there are in specifically a 5.5. Now we're going to talk about Montreal neighborhoods, and we're going to do that through the use of a website called likehome.info, which has a really great features, which is the interactive neighborhood maps, which shows metro links, average rent, accessibility in terms of public transportation, and a brief description of each neighborhood. So let's start with Southwest Montreal and Verdun. So as you can see, the average rent is right here. Those are the closest metro stations. And here you have accessibility of public transportation. And in this case, accessibility is used to refer to how easy is it to travel within those neighborhoods using public transportation. So in the daytime, it is good. In the nighttime, it is poor. And at the bottom here, we have food supply, which corresponds to the quantity and diversity when it comes to restaurants and grocery store. And in these neighborhoods, it is considered to be average. Then you have Côte-des-Neiges, Montréal, and Outremont. The rent in those neighborhoods are slightly more expensive. These are the closest metro stations. And again, accessibility in the daytime is excellent. In the nighttime, it is good. And food supply is considered good. Then you have NDG, Côte-Saint-Luc, Hampstead, Westmount, and Montreal West. The average rent is right here. Again, slightly more expensive. These are the closest metro stations. And accessibility in the daytime is excellent. In the nighttime, average. And food supply is good. Then you have the Plateau, which is, again, slightly more expensive. These are the closest metro stations. Important to note that Berry-UQAM is the main pillar of the metro system in Montreal. If you're not familiar with what the system looks like and what the map is like, we're going to show a picture of the metro map later in this presentation, but you can obviously also Google it. Accessibility is excellent in the daytime, good in nighttime, and food supply is good. And finally, we have downtown and Île-des-Sœurs, also called Nantes Island. And this is the most expensive neighborhood, but it is also the closest to campus. So if you're someone who wants to walk to the downtown campus, you would want to be close to the metro station Atwater or the Concordia, which is directly linked to the buildings that constitute the downtown campus. Accessibility in the daytime and in the nighttime are excellent, but food supply is considered poor. Now, before starting your search, you want to familiarize yourself with the city, its neighborhoods, costs, and public transit. Again, you can do that using the likehome.info website. Then you want to make a list of your criteria. So do you want to live alone or with roommates? Is being close to public transit or campus important to you? And finally, do you want your apartment to be furnished, non-furnished, or half furnished with only appliances included? Then you also want to check online listings often, as they are often changing. Another tip is to watch virtual tours. Sometimes they'll be provided directly in the ads through YouTube links, for example, and you want to request them if they're not provided. And also make sure to ask questions to the landlord via video call. So that can be a Zoom apartment visit. So make sure that you're asking all of your questions during that visit. So what should you do when you actually start your search for an apartment? Obviously, you can use the classifieds website, which is HOJO's website. This is a website that is ran by the HOJO staff. On there, you have ads for apartments, sublets, also people looking for roommates, and also job posting ads. You don't have to be registered to look at the ads, but if you would like to create an account as a student, you'll be required to provide a proof of enrollment. So this is the classifieds website. Again, you can create an account as a student, as a non-student, or as a company, depending what fits your description better. And when it comes to non-moderated websites, there are plenty, such as Kijiji, Craigslist, PadMapper, Kangaloo, and Facebook Marketplace. And if you would like us to verify if there are any complaints about a certain apartment or a certain landlord, you can send us those information at our email address, and we will look in our company database to see if there's anything that has been reported by past students. So where are the affordable apartments? As I said earlier, the great thing about Montreal is that it is a very student-driven city. So there are students living in all neighborhoods through Montreal. And those neighborhoods are often just a metro ride away. One thing to keep in mind, though, is that it is fairly common to have an apartment be more than 10 stops away from campus. So don't get alarmed if you see that this is the case. Again, as I mentioned earlier, this is the metro map. The downtown campus is right here at the Concordia. Then you have the Loyola campus right here. And again, feel free to use this map alongside the likehome.info website to see exactly where each neighborhood is situated. Now, let's talk about virtual apartment visits. So due to COVID-19, many apartment seekers are visiting apartments through virtual online tours rather than in person, and that can be a great way to visit apartments safely. Start your search early and give yourself plenty of time to make a good decision because you don't want to rush this process. And finally, we suggest that you visit at least 5 to 10 apartments in order to make an enlightened decision so that you can really see what are the options that are available to you. A tip to when visiting apartments, you want to make a list of things you would like in an apartment. So if that's a bath, a balcony, again, when it comes to appliances and furniture, what are the things that you look for? And also ask potential neighbors or the current tenant if they have experienced problems like bed bugs or poor response time when it comes to repairs, because that will give you a clear vision of what it's going to be like to live in that apartment. Obviously, you want to take notes and pictures during the visits to answer your own questions later if some pop up later on. And also you want to bring in a list of questions to ask the landlord to make sure that you're not forgetting anything. Now, when it comes to heating and energy, some apartments have heating and energy included, but not all of them. So if that's the case, you want to make sure that you don't forget that in your budget. Please do not underestimate the cold of Canadian winters if that's the first time that you're going to experience that. And a great tool to use to know the approximate cost of heating and energy is to do so by contacting Hydro-Quebec or Gas Metro, and they can give you the approximate cost of those things for a certain apartment when you give them the address. Another thing that you can do is ask Hydro-Quebec for an equalized payment plan so that you can avoid paying high energy fees all at once. Now, I want to talk about apartment insurance quickly because that's definitely something that we want to stress to students. It is important to get apartment insurance because the landlord's property insurance will not cover your belongings in case of a fire, theft, water damage, or any other type of damage. So you want to make sure that you include that in your budget as well. And the great thing is that tenant insurance can be as little as $15 a month. So it is definitely worth it. So let's recap quickly. Step one in your search for an apartment, you want to research Montreal and its neighborhoods as well as the public transit system, again, using tools such as the likehome.info website, which also has a lot of information about rental rights and rental obligations. So feel free to refer to that website for those types of information as well. Step two, you want to figure out your needs and wants. What are the things that you're ready to compromise on, and what are the things that you're not ready to compromise on? Step three, you want to constantly explore online listings because those types of websites evolve very quickly, so you don't want to miss anything. And then finally, step four, you can attend an upcoming HOJO workshop. We have more workshops coming on, so you can look at the HOJO Classifieds website to get those dates, but they will also be provided to you through a follow-up email at the end of this workshop. And then finally, to reach out to us, you can send us an email at hojo@csu.qc.ca. Our opening hours are from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. on Monday to Thursday and 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Fridays. Due to COVID, we are currently operating remotely through Zoom meetings for the most part. If you have any questions regarding house-related issues or housing-related issues or job-related issues, so we can definitely help you out that way. Again, feel free to reach out to us if you have any issues, and it was a pleasure to give you this workshop. Bye, folks.